Missing in Kansas, alone, afraid, in danger. Each year, dozens of Kansas children and adults are reported missing. Like names in a database, their stories are often not heard. Every weekday on Good Morning Kansas and Cake News at 5, we're sharing the story of someone reported missing, details on their disappearance, and how you can help. Missing in Kansas, with reports every weekday, only on Cake.
Well, today we're launching Cake's new investigative series, Missing in Kansas. Cake's Annette Lawless looks at cases that need to be solved. Ark City Police are hoping that you can help them find Quentin Bailey Rauch. He's 20 years old and was last seen on May 9th. Quentin is 6'2" with brown hair and blue eyes. He weighs about 150 pounds. Police believe he could be in Ark City, Winfield, or even in Ponca City in Oklahoma. I've been speaking with police departments in Kansas and Oklahoma who say that family, they are just hoping to bring Quentin home. To see the full story on the search for Quentin Rauch, head over to our website at cake.com. Now, we're hoping that you all can help us share this story as well to bring him home. If you have information on his whereabouts, go ahead and call Ponca City Police at 580-767-0370. Reporting in the studio, Annette Lawless, Cake News on your side.
He's out there, he's scared, it's cold.
In the blink of an eye, her son was gone.
I would like some kind of closure before I die.
What happened to Jeremy Coots? Where does the evidence point? The Missing in Kansas cold case. Tonight at 10, Cake News on your side. Missing in Kansas. A Kansas mom is holding out hope for a clue in the case of her boy. Jeremy Coots was 4 years old in 1977. He went out to play with another child in Atchison, only never to be seen or heard from again.
My name is Melody Hathaway. I am Jeremy Coots' mother. February 18th, 1977, it was supposed to be a blizzard. It turned out to be 60 degrees.
A gorgeous winter day. Jeremy Coots had his babysitters playing with her son outside. Then, at some point, Jeremy is in a wooded area heading toward the Missouri River bluffs.
She ran out and she started screaming and yelling. She thought, my gosh, what if his hearing aid had been knocked off?
A call on the CB radio. Help find a deaf boy lost on Potato Hill. Jeremy's dad rushed to help find his son.
He said, don't worry about it, Melody. It's 3 o'clock now. Go finish your other 2 hours. Come home at 5 and Jeremy and I will be there waiting for you. And I said, I'll be right there. And that was where the nightmare began.
The search turned to hours and then days. The Kansas National Guard among hundreds scouring the woods.
We waited and waited and waited. And we still don't have closure. I don't know. I'm a mom, so part of me wants him to be alive. You know, maybe somebody did on the railroad did get him. And you know, maybe he is somewhere.
A few years ago, investigators created this age progression photo of what Jeremy would look like at 42 years old. As of October 30th, Jeremy will be 46 years old. Detectives continue to get hits on this case, though none are Jeremy.
I can touch him through this. And I can hold it up here. That's what it means to me.
To this day, Jeremy's mom keeps mementos close, like this worn-out Raggedy Andy doll that Jeremy loved. She clutches onto it, much like her faith, praying for a miracle, or at least some closure before she dies.
A mother's love is pretty strong, and we'll cling on to anything, anything. So that's the part that wants him to be alive. You know, he's a man now, and he just doesn't know how to find us. Somebody could have taken him and could have told him whatever story. And I like to think of that instead of him being in the Missouri River. That's a hard one. It's a real hard one.
So speaking to Jeremy's mom, she tells me a little bit more. A few years ago, she ended up writing a book about her loss. A 4-year-old disappears from her bed.
I don't want nobody to think that I gave up because I haven't.
17 years later, her mother's broken-hearted plea for answers.
I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she did.
The Missing in Kansas cold case. Tonight at 10, Hake News on Your Side investigates.
It's been 17 years, but a Wichita family continues to hold out hope that their child will be returned. She was taken from her bed in the middle of the night. KAKE's Annette Lawless has more on this special Missing in Kansas cold case.
Jaquila Scales was last seen in her bed after midnight in September 2001. Her family realized she was gone a couple of hours later, and she hasn't been seen since.
We're not giving up. We're gonna keep praying.
It's scary not knowing where she might be.
As the time keep going and the hours is passing, it's getting harder and harder on me.
September 5th, 2001. 4-year-old Jaquila Scales went to bed at a home on North Volusia near 17th and Hillside in northeast Wichita. When family woke up, she was gone.
Our goal is to find the little girl, okay, alive and well. We're very optimistic. We're going to do that.
Dozens, if not hundreds, scouring the neighborhood.
That's the last field we're going to do.
Those searches turning up empty. And there's been no trace of her at all.
No trace. It's like she just vanished. Like she just, no trace, no evidence, no nothing.
Eureka Scales is encouraged by the community's support for her daughter, whom they lovingly referred to as Grammy Boo. Over the years, experts created an image of what she would look like around age 8, at 13, and 16. If alive, Jaquila would be 21 years old.
I don't want nobody to think that I gave up because I haven't. You know, I live with this every day of my life, but it's hard. It's hard because I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she did. I don't know nothing. Nothing.
If you could say something to whomever that took her, what would you tell them?
Just let her come home, you know. It's been so long now. She's 21. She's grown. What else can y'all do with her? But let her come home. You know, we miss her. We love her. You know, we want her to home. We want her home.
Jaquila has a scar on her upper right leg and a brown birthmark on her face. Eureka says her daughter has a trait of sickle cell, and she's hoping that Jaquila may be getting ready to start a family and now might want to piece together clues about her true identity. If you have information that can help, contact the Wichita Police Department at 316-268-4220.
Today's Missing in Kansas.
Ashley Meese went missing more than 2 months ago, and now her family has increased a reward to $6,000 for information leading to Ashley's return. Just last weekend, friends, family, and churchgoers came together to pray for Ashley, who went missing from Ogden, Kansas on May 18th. Her dad's from North Carolina, and once he heard of what had happened to Ashley, he flew to Kansas to find answers. He says she was last seen at 8:30 that night, leaving the Rock House bar with 2 men. He still has unanswered questions.
We have proof that there are people that are not being truthful with us. We know that there are people who have lied to us. We know that there are people who are holding information from us.
Initially, family worried that maybe her ongoing battle with PTSD and pending divorce drove her to escape. Now they fear that she may have been kidnapped or physically harmed. The former military officer is 31 years old. She's 5'4" with brown eyes. She has short brown hair that is shaved on the sides. She has several tattoos, including on her upper chest and large tattoos on her arms. If you have information that can help, contact Riley County Police at 785-537-2112.
Well, the families of 2 Kansas women share some good news. KAKE's Annette Lawless has new developments in today's Missing in Kansas.
Really the news that 2 families were waiting for. In November, 15-year-old Daisy Avalos was reported missing in Wichita, but her mother tells me that Daisy is safe and in her care, no longer considered a missing person. And the mother of Latasha Martinez tells me that her daughter is okay as well. Latasha was originally from Liberal, but she's been up in Kansas City for medical treatment. She was reported missing in early July. The 27-year-old is now in a Kansas City hospital, and we certainly wish her a swift recovery. If you have a missing person story that you would like for us to look into, or maybe you want to see some profiles that we featured here in our segment, we have a lot of them, head over to cake.com/missing.
If he was missing, I don't think it's on his own accord.
The Kansas father who never came home.
The messages stopped and that was the end of it.
Who last saw Quentin Rauch and where? The Missing in Kansas cold case. Tonight at 10, Cake News on your side. An update to a story we shared with you earlier this week. A young dad went missing nearly 6 months ago, and now his family fears that something terrible happened to their loved one. I speak to the mother of Quentin Rauch about her son missing across state lines.
He was living with my mom, and he had someone come pick him up in the middle of the night, and we haven't seen or heard from him since May 9th.
It's been months since Sharissa has seen her son, Quentin Rauch, a 21-year-old with so much to celebrate.
He has a 3-year-old son that, I mean, he was an excellent father. That was his #1 priority. And it's just very strange, very odd behavior that if he was missing, I don't think it's on his own accord.
It's believed that Quentin was picked up by 2 guys in the middle of the night and then wound up with 2 other friends, some believe on Highway 77. They may have been going to Cass City, more than 30 miles from his Kansas home. Along with Ponca City Police, the Ark City Police Department is assisting. They say the man and woman that were last with him are okay, but they are not suspects in this case. Would you say it's suspicious, his disappearance?
I think at this point, yes, because of the amount of time that has passed. I would not venture to say that he would go any length of time without contacting his family.
Kind of get the feeling that he's not alive, and so we're kind of doing a recovery.
Private search groups have assisted with the case, but recent rain has hindered their efforts of finding Quentin. He is 6'2" with brown hair, blue eyes, and weighs up to 200 pounds. He has spacers in his ears and large tattoos like this gargoyle on his right arm, a Grim Reaper, and another tattoo. He was likely wearing a cross pendant necklace and carrying a black backpack. His mom hopes someone will see this photo and remember something, anything to bring her boy home.
We love him and his family loves him, and we would love to see him come home if possible. If not, we need to get him recovered as soon as possible.
I have reached out to the man and the woman who were last believed to be with Quentin, but they have not responded back. Quentin was also in the process of going through a divorce, but I'm told the split was amicable. If you happen to know anything that can help with this case, contact the Ponca City Police Department at 580-767-0370.
Missing in Kansas 18 years ago, a Kansas teenager disappeared.
Yeah, her family is still searching for answers. Cake's Annette Lawless has the story.
This is April Wiss. The 16-year-old disappeared back in January of 2000. And this photo of April has been on display at the police department ever since she vanished, as top investigators hope to close this case.
It's actually been pretty dreadful. I really feel for her family.
It's been 18 years since Kendra Cawthra has seen one of her closest friends, April Wiss. The two have known each other since they were little, sharing plenty of memories like this trip to the zoo. Taking a look back at that photo though now and just wondering, what's that like for you?
It's tough. I still have the Mickey and Minnie t-shirt she gave me. It's tucked away in safekeeping. But to look at it and then realize all the moments that she's missed.
These is just an album I did of the years she was growing up.
Moments like what her mom shared with us years ago. missing birthdays, graduation, and other special occasions.
And I want to let her know that Mommy is still looking for her. I'm sorry, but I'm out there looking for her.
April recently moved out and was living with a friend in an apartment in South Wichita. Investigators say she may have got a page that night and left to meet somebody. She took her keys and wallet, locked the door, and was never seen again.
We don't have anything that tells us anybody did anything to April. We haven't found her. So that in itself gives me some hope.
Detective Robert Chisholm has been on this case from the beginning. One of the latest tips about April came a few years ago, with someone claiming that they had spotted her in Las Vegas a long time before. They can only be sure that April was at her home near Pawnee and Broadway. She was days away from testifying in a rape trial and may be a runaway. Kendra says that this is very unlike April, and she worries that someone took her, maybe hurt her, or got her into sex trafficking.
She was one of the best people I ever knew. Know that she genuinely had a good heart and did love her family, and none of us believe that she just ran away.
I've spoken to April's mom and family who simply just want to find her. If you have information that can help with this case, contact the Wichita Police Department at 316-337-6552.
The Kansas Department of Children and Families has been under a microscope by lawmakers.
After a number of botched investigations and a recent class action lawsuit, a special task force has been set up to try and fix the agency. KAKE's Annette Lawless investigates the allegations against DCF and its impact on kids missing in Kansas.
The nonprofit Kansas Appleseed is speaking up for 10 children they say the foster care system failed. One girl was allegedly raped in a child welfare agency office. Another boy had been moved to 130 foster homes in 6 years. As this lawsuit shows us, several kids at some point run away. Broken system. Extreme housing disruption. Words used to describe what 10 children face in a class action lawsuit against DCF. The department has about 7,600 kids in foster care.
They just give up. They don't think anybody cares about them, so they don't have any need to stay where they have no control over their settings.
Attorneys like Lori Burns-Bucklew and Larry Root fighting for children in foster care. The lawsuit claims DCF is neglecting kids, leaving them virtually homeless and without proper mental health care.
PTSD for kids in foster care has been found to be as much as that for soldiers in battle.
And though the Department for Children and Families cannot comment on pending litigation, they say while there are some problems with the system, they are making great strides this year compared to last and with other agencies in the state. This year, DCF says there's been a 27% decrease in the number of missing and runaway youth in Kansas foster care. Some people may say, yeah, well, the numbers may have improved, but there's still a problem. Do you agree with that at all?
Of course. There's a problem when kids run away, whether they're our kids or kids that aren't in foster care, right? I mean, no one wants kids out there on the streets.
Yet DCF is celebrating victories, like a sweep in November where federal, state, and local law enforcement offices found 18 runaways. Also, the department has hired 2 special agents who solely work on finding missing kids, something it says is rare across the country. The lawyers hope that with a new governor and other lawmakers preparing to take office, there will also be changes in policies, like reducing short-term stays, better training for foster families, and preventing runaways. Any improvements for kids who were initially pulled from their homes, where they were exposed to drugs, domestic violence, or child abuse.
They've given up. They've become depressed. They've become anxious. They believe, they see one social worker, then another, and it becomes hopeless for them.
DCF says children who were found in the recent sweep will now go through assessments to find a safe and comfortable place for them. Also, DCF is testing a program in Kansas City pairing chronic runaways with mentors so they'll have another person in their corner. They plan to bring that program to Wichita soon. Missing in Kansas. Cake has brought awareness to over 100 cases and given hope to those with nowhere else to turn.
That means a lot to me because that let me know that somebody really out there thinking about her.
Missing in Kansas, only on Cake.